Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Mama Genius Hub podcast. I have Alicia here today, and we're going to get into our genes and how we do this. And there's just so much goodness in this episode. I don't even want to spoil it. I'm just going to start by introducing her. At 62, Alicia is living testimony to the power of holistic health. With over 25 years of experience, she brings wealth of knowledge to help families navigate the complexity of the health challenges. Because, we all have those challenges, but what do we do about it? Alicia's approach is to personalize and root it in genetic understanding. We're going to get down to the genes and talk about what to do about that. She not only looks and feels like a 30-year-old, but has successfully decoded her own wellness path. Join us for this enlightening conversation as we just get in with Alicia, and we're going to learn So before we get into the hows and the whys, tell us a little bit about yourself a little bit more and your why behind all this.
Well, my why behind all this was the complexity that we make life complex. We made health complex. And genetics can be very, very, very complex.
I feel like anxiety already with the word genetics.
So, I don't know if you remember your genetics school and the chromosomes and stuff like that. Well, tell you the truth, it was in 2017 when one of the companies that sell supplements opened a platform in which we could actually take our DNA and put it in the platform and get ideas about what our DNA is telling us. So anyway, I went crazy. 2017, I did it. My whole family, my sister jumped in. The whole works. And all of a sudden, I looked at it and I'm like, this type of information is good for nothing. Oh my gosh, they have typos. You have to understand that DNA has 4 letters and 4 letters only. If you change an A for a T, it's a completely different thing. And I just did not feel confident. Michelle, I did not feel confident. I spoke with some people about it, and I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of typos. I don't think we should go in on it and stuff like that. So I let it rest. All of a sudden, I have a business partner here in Canada. Her name is Brenda Wallenberg. She's the author of the Imbalance program, and I've been teaching the Kids Imbalance program for a long period of time because I love kids when they learn. When they learn to truly create healthy habits when they are kids, their whole life can be completely different. So anyway, so this lady says, "Oh, I'm gonna be interviewed at a podcast." I'm like, "Good for you." I'm like, and I promised them a course. I'm like, "Good for you." She looked at me and she goes, and she laughed because she's also a nutritionist, but she's a sociologist. And she looked at me. I'm like, I cannot do it without you, right? And I said, I know you cannot do it without me because I'm a biologist for training. I've been teaching 25 years higher education, and I don't like the way biology has been taught in school. Never, ever, ever, ever. Because people think that biology is all about memorization and regurgitation in the exam, and you pass the course. But when I finally found someone, she's a medical doctor in Toronto. Her name is Dr. Penny Kendall-Reid. And she found the same thing about these typos, and she created her own platform. And I'm like, ooh, okay, let's take a look at her. And so anyway, I paid her. Every time I talk to her, I pay her a lot of money, but I'm like, okay, I need to talk to her directly. So I paid for a whole hour, which I was bombarding her with questions. Blah, blah, blah. And all of it made so much sense because she removed the typos, but not only that. There are billions of genes out there, billions of genes. They're going to tell you, oh, you have this gene or you have the other gene or whatever, right? And they are useless. Well, she actually picked up about 70 genes that are the foundation of everything else. So when you clear the foundation, right, then you start noticing, oh, this is changing over here, or this is changing over there. So we started following her for a while. And of course, right now we are her fans. I actually went to Toronto just to listen to her because she was doing a conference on mental health and genetics. And I'm like, I'm going to be there. I follow her. I am her shadow. I have read her book like 4 times. She has a book called Fix Your Genes to Fit Your Genes. Because when you understand your genetics, your genetics. Everything makes sense. Now you need to understand something, Michelle. Your genes were made the way an egg joined, mommy's egg joined with daddy's sperm. And those have been your genes ever since. They will never change. They have never changed. They will express the same way over and over and over again, right? That is why your eye color doesn't change. Well, maybe changes in the first year or so, right? That is why the color of your hair probably doesn't change until you start going gray, right? That is why, some things don't change, because your DNA expresses exactly the same way from the minute you were conceived. And so something extremely interesting is that these 70 genes, which are truly the foundation, allow us to look into the root causes of health challenges. And so people ask me, so who do you work with? I'm like, well, with people that have health challenges. And like, what type of health challenges? I don't know, because lots of people have come to me saying, I have this, I have this, I have the other. And I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look, right? I think I have analyzed about 60 people's genes. There's a lot of things that I see repeating over and over again. And there's things that were like, wow, I didn't even know that had anything to do with this. So what happens, for example, if you have a kid, actually, I'm actually working with a kid right now. The parents contacted me because she has vitiligo, right? Vitiligo, which is like your skin turns white and there's no pigmentation and stuff like that. And she's like, oh my gosh, she's just age. She started with vitiligo. We have no idea where it come from. And I'm like, well, let's do her genetics, right? And then they told me, but she's also hyperactive, really hyperactive. I'm like, okay. And then they also told me, oh, and she doesn't sleep well. And I'm like, okay, oh, you know what? She might have a thyroid problem. And I'm like, how you know? Oh, well, because, she went for a thyroid test. By the way, when you go for a test, they will test your blood maybe 1 second. Your genes are expressing all the time. It's a huge difference, right?
Right.
So anyway, so this 8-year-old, I look at her DNA and I'm like, yeah, they didn't have to tell me that. Yeah, she's hyperactive. Yes, she has problems with her thyroid. Yes, she doesn't sleep. And guess what? She doesn't have any immune issues. So something vitiligo, they will always tell you it's an autoimmune. It's your immune system. Guess what? It's not her immune system. She has problems with detoxification.
With what?
Detoxification. Cleaning everything, cleaning the environment. Every time we eat, the food goes into our gut, gets into our liver, it's cleaned up. If the liver is not working properly, and I'll tell you, I think 95% of the people that I have been testing, and they're like, oh, your liver is too slow, or your liver is non-existent, or it's just because we are surrounded by so many toxins. So it was so funny that the parents told me this, right? Because I saw it in her mouth right away, without a problem. And I'm like, do you want to do something about this? I'm like, yes, please. One thing was a bit illegal, but the dad goes like, oh my gosh, if you can do something for her hyperactivity, we'll love you to pieces. So this is when you look into the genetics, like, okay, which genes are expressing? How can I change the environment to change the genes? So we call this epigenetics. You probably have heard the term epigenetics. How can we change the environment to change the expression of the genes? Okay, what are we exposed to every single day? What do we do every single day, Michelle? We sleep,
Eat.
we move, we eat, we drink, we poop, we pee, we sweat, right? So these are things you have to do every single day to be able to have a perfect body. What about if we change that environment? Number one, let's sleep better. How do I sleep better if my brain is not turning off and I'm a hyperactive child? And then the mom was like, you got to go to sleep because, I have work to do and my time is so.
Oh, I've never said that once. Nope.
Oh, never. Like I know your mamas, I have 3 kids and they were, I mean, when my youngest was born, my daughter wasn't even 4. I had 3 kids under 4. They were like boom, boom, boom. They were like boom, boom, boom. I know what a busy mama is, okay? Because I had no help. I lived away from my parents. I lived away, my in-laws, they lived away too. I ended up getting friends to help me. I was working, by the time my son was 1, I started working at night, 7 till 10 p.m. at night. That's when I was teaching because my husband was home. And that was the only time I could have to work. So I understand mamas. I understand mamas that you just want to, oh, can you please just shut up, go to sleep, and let me finish my day, right? And so anyway, so what can we do about sleep and kids? Well, let's look at their genetics. Number 1, why is it that your child doesn't fall asleep right away? Ooh, there are 2 genes. I'm just going to talk about the clock gene. There's a clock gene. And we categorize these genes as if they are a strict 8. So red, yellow, green. If your child is green, these are the type of children that will say, I'm going to bed and fall asleep right away. If they're yellow, they might take a bit longer, but they fall asleep. If they're red, it can be 11, midnight, and they want their cell phones and they cannot fall asleep.
Interesting.
So, but how do we change the environment? Well, number 1, you have a routine before going to sleep. Can you actually, especially for your red one, the one that's clock red, can we change the routine before you go to sleep? What is it I need to remove from my child? Anything that gets this child active. Don't send them to the gym before they go to sleep. Okay, they need to exercise in the morning, never exercise before bedtime. Stop stimulating before they go to sleep. These are the kids that truly need a very, very dark bedroom. Now, what else promotes sleep? Well, what did you eat all day? If you had just had milk before you go to bed, guess what? You had something that you probably don't digest, or probably that caused tummy upset, and milk has sugar. Lactose is the sugar of milk. So if you give your child milk before they go to sleep, guess what? They have too much sugar in their body and they cannot digest it and they have a tummy upset and they're not going to fall asleep. Let's change the environment in terms of food. The first thing in the morning is extremely important, but not for everybody. Now, if we talk about genetics, Michelle, this is the most amazing thing I've seen is like, we can optimize how many times a day you should be eating, how much protein, how much fat, how much carbohydrates your plate should have.
So this comes from diagnosing those 70 genes?
Yes, from diagnosing your 70 genes, we can pinpoint at the best diet you can have. For example, me, I eat 3 times a day with no snacking in between, 5 to 6 hours between meals, and I need to have a very specific amount of protein, lots of vegetables. Lots of vegetables are always like, they have, me, they have to be there, okay? The right amount of fat. Don't be afraid of fat. You need saturated fat. Some people need more saturated fat than others. And you need carbohydrates, but depending on your protein, how much carbohydrates you see on your plate. So my plates are always like the rainbow, very colorful, and you're going to see maybe a half potato as my starch, instead of I'm going out for, I don't know, for Italian meal, and it's like this much carbohydrates, like this much pasta, then on top a little bit of protein, and maybe the veggies are the tomato sauce. I don't know. That, if you feed your child that, or macaroni and cheese for dinner, your child is not going to fall asleep, especially if they are red clock. There's no way. That combination does not work at all. And so it's a beautiful map, and it is so personalized because I've done all my kids. Every single one of my kids, guess what? Is different.
Is what?
Is different. Every single child, every single one of my kids is different. You know, one of them needs more protein, the other one needs way more fat, and the other one needs very little fat or very little carbohydrate.
So how would you, so if you figure this out, how would your meals and stuff then differentiate to feed like a whole family if you're feeding them properly?
So I'm cooking all for the same family. It's just different amounts. And always vegetables. Always cruciferous vegetables. I am the type of person that will have broccoli for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Cruciferous vegetables are magic. And cruciferous vegetables, and think about Liam, your son, how he loves germinating seeds. Germinated broccoli seeds are the most nutritious thing you can have because it helps your liver detox, among other things. It just, you know, and getting the nutrients inside you. How do you expect to calm down your body when your body is craving for more? I want nutrients that will give me the nutrition I need to be as healthy as possible. And that's why I say I'm 62, but I live in a 30-year-old body. Because truly, Michelle, I have so much, I have so much energy. I have students that are 18, 19, 20 years old, and I'm like, what are you, I'm tired. And you're tired of what? You know, like I said, after class, I still go home and I still work and I still do all these things. And I'm enjoying every minute of my life. I am present in the present. And being present in the present is a present.
I have to say you're living your genius, which is why I brought you on the show.
So anyway, is this making sense for busy mamas? Now, as a mama, right? When you're just exhausted at the end of the day and you just, oh my gosh, I still need to make lunches. I still need to get the laundry. I still need to get ready for tomorrow. You know, I need to get up earlier so I can shower before I get up the kids to go to school and get ready. And the busyness. You as a mama, guess what? You need to put yourself first. We always put ourselves last. As a mama, you also need to know, how do you sleep? Did you wake up rested? Did you sleep 8 hours? Did your body recover overnight? Or, you know what? Does your body actually need not to have pasta before you go to bed? Or does your body need to see Netflix, you know, like binge on Netflix before you go to bed and not being able to rest? Or are you so involved sometimes, you know, helping other mamas that you're actually living their life and worried about them and doesn't let you sleep? You are number one in the picture. Without a healthy mama, your family is not going to work. I know dads are important. Yes, I understand that. But there's no way a dad will take the place of a mom. I'm sorry. I lived through that, and you know that.
Well, we're the glue. We keep everything together. And as the glue, like you were saying, it is important to making sure that because you are the glue, that you're able to respond more to what's around you because you have so much responsibility. And again, if you're not taking care of yourself, then you're hungry, you're tired, and you're irritable. And when we all know when we're irritable, we suddenly lash out, we react instead of responding. And again, that's where we keep coming to. I think almost every speaker I've been on 4 podcasts today, every speaker has come back to the idea of taking care of yourself first because of that nature of being able to respond when you are in a better mood, when you're feeling full, when you're feeling you have your energy and everything blows up around you. It's the same situation, but things are different because of how you respond or react to it. And things are going to be thrown at you. Yesterday, I took my cat to the vet, but in the same time, like, oh, and I've actually been working on a program called Money EQ, and it was learning about that. And all of a sudden, usually I'd be at the vet going, oh my God, how much is this going to cost me? Instead, I was like, I have the money to take care of him. I have the money to make him feel better. And it's that mind stuff shift in how we approach things. And that again comes to how we take care of ourselves, because as moms, we need to step up and say, I am first. I am the role model I want to be for my kids. If I want to see a happy, healthy adult, I have to be that so they can model that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when your kids leave home, my kids already left home. Actually, by the way, one is going back, which is amazing. I'm really excited about it because she cannot pay rent anymore. It's too expensive. So, but anyway, she's going to come here for a little while. And anyway, what do your kids, when they leave your home, what do they take with them? Well, sure, they take all their stuff. Something they take with them, Michelle, and I can tell your mamas, they take with them the healthy habits they learned at home. So if mama is cranky, guess what? Your child is going to take the crankiness with them. If mama truly ate well, and I truly mean ate well, because we need to learn how to eat. And creating habits is not simple. It's not easy. The younger you are, the easier it is. So, like how can we instill our kids this part of being as healthy as possible? But we need to start with us. We need to be as healthy as possible.
I
Period.
love that. I love that because that's kind of what one of the things I always tell my kids is I'm working on having to remake these habits, whereas I'm trying to instill them in you now so that you just have them. They're just part of who you are. Instead, because as moms, like we've created some of these habits and things that we might not want. And so that's where I always use that with them. I'm like, I have to undo it. And I'm working on
Yes,
it and I'm doing it and I'm here with you doing it. But I want to make sure that when you leave, you have some of these better habits than
absolutely. And it's beautiful when you go to their place and you open the fridge and they're like, oh, you have exactly the same as me. That's crazy. It's so beautiful. It's beautiful when they take the healthy habits with them.
So I have a feeling Leah might have better stuff in his fridge than I will.
But again, you know what? There's nobody to blame really how we grew up. There's the food industry is not helping us to be healthier. No, I was actually listening. I listened to a lot of people, but yesterday I was listening to one of my mentors, Dr. Greenblatt, who talks a lot about mental illness in kids, and he actually wrote a great book called "Finally Focused" for hyperactive kids. And anyway, he was talking about how much the food industry changed to get rid of fats. You get rid of fats, and guess what? We have so much fat right here on our brain. They get rid of fats, they put sugar in there, and of course, guess what? Oh my gosh, we're not even thinking anymore. So start with sugar. Start decreasing sugar. Please don't give your kids sugar past 6 o'clock. Okay? I know a treat is a treat, but my treat is like a little mini piece of dark chocolate after dinner. That's my treat. Yes, I have a treat, but don't give don't give sugar to kids. Keep them on a schedule. Even if it's weekends, keep them on a schedule. Why? Because you will notice that very important part in which when you slept enough, you wake up without an alarm. You don't need to be waken up. You get up without an alarm because you completed your sleep cycle. And you get up rested. You get up super happy. You get up calm, mama, without screaming and without running and without any of that. Most importantly, you wake up in gratitude. I mean, to me right now, it's waking up in gratitude every day for what I do, what I'm doing. It's beautiful. And I don't know if you guys know this book. Do you know this book?
Oh, yes, I love that book.
The Very Busy Spider. The Very Busy Spider never heard anything because was busy. Was so busy, ended up exhausted at the end of the day. Are you, mama, a very busy spider? Are you? Are you taking care during the day so that you're not exhausted by the end of the day?
Oh, so true. On that note, we're running out of time, so we're going to dive into our 5 questions we're going to ask Alicia that we ask at the end of every podcast. So number 1, I think you've already shared a resource, but let's see what other resource you have. Your favorite book or resource that has a significant impact on your journey as a mama.
Yeah, I was when my kids were little. Sure enough, I was a very busy spider. And you know what? A lot of times I'm like, I wished I wasn't a very busy spider. I wished I was more present with my kids. So, mamas, please be present with your kids.
I love that. Which leads us into number 2, a special family tradition or ritual that brings connection and joy in your household.
Oh, well, we are board gamers, actually, as a matter of fact. My kids come, and every time they come, we play board games. It's been beautiful. It's been, oh my gosh, they are amazing. Every time they come in, Mom, we got this new game, we got to play it. And it's really exciting to do something like that, even as adults, to be able to have that connection. But again, when you're playing a board game, I'm learning this. I want to be present with my kids.
Agree. That's one of the things we've been doing too. And also puzzling.
Oh my gosh, puzzling is like, I can't wait. I can't wait. I know my daughter's like, oh, Mom, are we doing a puzzle for Christmas? Yes, we are doing a puzzle for Christmas. Puzzling is beautiful because you can chat so much while you're doing a puzzle. Oh, puzzling is beautiful.
And I love just finding a spot for it. So it's like not this extreme, you have to finish it right now, but it's just a process. And it kind of helps you with that journey of it all, because we don't have to finish it right here, right now. But we do need to find a spot for it that it can stay out.
Actually, you know what? We framed a lot of our puzzles. You know, those IKEA frames were the exact size. So if you actually get a frame from IKEA, it's not expensive. Then you have the cardboard. Then you build it on the cardboard. And then you can move it everywhere in the house.
I love that.
It's really fun. And then at the end, you can frame it.
Or take it apart and do it again next time.
Or take it apart and do it again.
I love that. That's such a great idea. And then you don't have to rush to do it. Number 3, I think you really touched on already without even knowing it, I think, the idea of busyness, because I know I call out the moms because that's how we define ourselves a lot of times, as busy mamas. And someone says, how are you doing? And you answer, I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. And so I feel like as part of this is I want to redefine that, because I don't think that just saying that we're busy or having this sense of always having to be in production or like doing certain things is necessarily the way I want to do it. So I'm throwing the idea out there to open the conversation and get new ideas from every speaker that comes on here.
Well, you know what? I hear this all the time. I'm busy making my kids' lunches. Okay. Guess what? Here's a tip for you. Your kids get involved into making their lunches. And when they get involved into making their lunches, they will know what's in their lunch bag the day after, which makes a lot of sense. But also teach them how to make a healthy lunch. And guess what? The best conversations happen in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's funny.
Making lunches is a time for connection.
My girls, all 3 of my kids make their own lunches at this point. And the rule is, you know, we've gone through how to proportion. They use a lot of leftovers for their lunches, but they always have the caveat that if they're running late or if they need my help, it's always there. And so I end up making lunches a lot less, but also they know the support's there when needed. So it's not like this overwhelming burden, but it just is built into our mornings. It is something that I don't even deal with at all for the most part. I do end up making breakfast more often because they get a little lazy on that part and they don't want to make eggs, but you know what? I'll take it.
Well, you know what? I would tell you something. We got to the point where we actually made lunch after dinner with leftovers. After dinner with leftovers, you pack your lunch, so it's ready in the morning.
That's actually a good idea. Instead of putting the leftovers away, they're going to use them anyways. Just have lunch containers out and save them the trouble. That is, we're getting new tips all the time.
It saves a lot of time.
We're packing them up anyways. I mean, that's what Liam does every morning, is take all the leftovers out and then pack it. But honestly, it takes him 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll just, I know. It's such a great idea, though, just to have the lunch containers on the table and just get it. And then it's just pulled out of the fridge in the morning. Awesome. What a great tip. Number 4 leads us into describe what genius means to you and how you feel living in your genius zone.
Genius means to me doing what you love doing, because basically you're being yourself, and it's no effort to be in a genius zone. But you got to find what makes you happy, what makes you, like, it's like, I'm busy. Yeah, I'm busy. But guess what? It didn't matter, because it was so much fun the time I spent doing it that I don't even realize I was on it for 3 hours, right? So just make something that is fun.
Has that already been a half an hour that we've been on the call?
Maybe. It's run so fast, Michelle. You're so fun.
So that leads us to then, how do we encourage children to explore new skills and passions and live in their genius?
Well, same thing. They need to find their passions. You need to find where is their zone of genius. What is their passion? What is it they love doing? Some kids absolutely love playing soccer, and others detest it. Some people like coloring. Some other kids detest it. The same way you love what you do, your kids should love what they do, basically, and help them be more involved. They want to help at home. It's just that stop telling them, no. That word should not even exist in the vocabulary. It's like, sure, come help.
Well, I do have to use the word no when Liam takes over the kitchen and there's an explosion of everything all over the place. But just dishes and flying everywhere. But that's okay. He is letting them explore and be part of it and doing it together. And what I will admit on that is making sure that when you do those aspects, like especially in the kitchen stuff, making sure that you put in the time for it, that like you've scheduled extra time for their help, because it will pay off. I will admit that Alicia knows Liam very well. I mean, last summer he was able to do 2 meals worth of dinners by himself, cooking them, meal planning, everything, because the time has already been put in. And so that's what our goal is to put the time in to coach them and gear them up so that they can take this with them on their own. We need to teach them. We need to do these things with them. And I think that is really getting into their zone of genius and letting them flourish in those moments. I really love that.
Absolutely.
So on that note, give us your final tidbits for the and how people can get a hold of you and the freebie that you have for everybody, the free gift you have.
Okay, so I created the detective game years ago, truly. Why? Because there's so much sugar hidden in our kitchens. It's terrible. And so anyway, first step to create healthy habits is find out the sugar that's in your kitchen. It's hiding. It has many different names, but go find it. Okay, so the detective game is something we're going to share with you for free. The detective game will also take you, if you download the detective game, it's going to take you to another something that's free. I created a family workshop. It's a workshop to play with your kids in the kitchen to start creating healthy habits. Okay? And please try that. I've had kids 3 years old doing that workshop. It's fun. It's interactive. Make sure the whole family is involved. Okay? It's not just the kids and you. Daddy has to also be there, of course, but it's a really good start on making you start to think, what type of food, when I go shopping, what should be in, what is healthy, what is truly healthy, and start instilling healthy habits. The younger you start, the better it is.
Well, I love how you said get everyone involved, because I think that's key, is that we think that it's our job as moms to do it all. And how do we, these are steps and ways and tips to help bring it, not only to take it off our plate, but also bring the connection in everyone doing it together. And that's, I think, I'm the real goal of creating all of this.
Absolutely. Agree.
Well, thank you, Alicia, so much for coming on today. And this was another episode of the Mama Genius Hub podcast. And thank you all. We'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I can find the